Just finished tuning her up. Watch this. Bam, baby! In the utmost position, the way it's supposed to be. Turn down a little bit. Simmering a pot of coffee. Warming up some cocoa. All stunts performed are by certified professionals. Please do not try this at home unless accompanied by a responsible adult or your local fire marshal. Thank you. What's going on? How you guys doing? Welcome to Tackle Revisited, where we love all things fishing and hunting. I'm your host, the Old Dirty Fishman, and today we'll be working on a Coleman 425C 2-burner white gas grill. So the last time we had this thing out was at ice camp, and I was having one heck of a time getting her to work right. This grill was given to me by a friend, and it's been sitting around for about 5 years now, and it has definitely seen better days. Now I took it apart a little bit and blew some of the cobwebs out of it, but it didn't do it justice. So today I'll be showing you how to clean her up real good using just a few tools around the house. Pair of pliers, 10mm or a 3/8 wrench, 7/16 wrench, 8mm wrench or 5/16. That thing up. A dental pick, if you're a mechanic, you might have this, and good old-fashioned Pops number 9 gun cleaning kit. And you're going to want a kit that has a 22mm bore brush in it, and yeah, so let's get right at it. Alright, we got her all unboxed. And here we have the powerhouse of the Coleman white gas grill. This is the fuel tank slash burner jet doodad thing. A couple parts here that will give you problems over time. You need to take this apart and clean this out. This is what's called a generator right here, and this is meant to just kind of clean it. Not only does it kind of regulate the amount of gas that goes through there, but it also kind of cleans out that jet area where it passes through the tube here. Keeps it free from carbon, I guess. But when you go to light this thing, you must have this turned in the up position to start. And one of the major problems I was having with it is it didn't want to start in the up position. So I would have to kind of fiddle around with it and put it on an angle, maybe 3/4 of the way down, and then it will kind of want to start, and then I could maybe bring it back up. But it definitely wasn't right, and there was a few times where I thought it might explode on me. Lots of pumping and whatnot, so that's a problem area. The tube itself over time will get carbon in it, carbon buildup I imagine, so we'll be running the 22 bore brush through there. And another issue that they have is the pump prime assembly here, and this is where most of the magic happens. You give it a couple turns loose, pump it up about 25-30 times, 40 times, about 45-50 times, maybe just 20 once it's cleaned, and she's good to go. Now the way this thing goes together is just really scary. If you ask me, you'll slide this tank through this hole here, and these little tits go into these little slots there, and then if you take a look here, you'll see that the fuel rod goes past into this, I guess, heat exchanger you would call it, and goes around the horn. Vapor will find its way up through this burner diffuser, and then you light it. Okay, with this in the up position and with this valve fully opened. And then once it's been lit for about a minute, it warms all this up, and you can bring this generator, I think it's called a generator, into the downward position, and then it will be burning properly. And then from there, if you turn the grill on to this side here, there's this little knob, and you can open this, and that allows gas to go to the second burner, where you'll just give her a light, and away you go. And you regulate the flame height by just turning that knob in and out, but we'll close that for now. Okay, so that's the basic operation of it. Let's pull her back apart here. And because we're not really going to be doing anything to the heat exchanger, I already blew that out. I made sure that there were no cobwebs in there, and I took these diffusers off, and I'll show you, I guess I'll show you how those come apart here in a moment, after we get done rebuilding the fuel tank pump assembly, and just to give you an idea of what's going on there. But that's pretty straightforward, pretty cut and dry. There's not a whole lot going on there. It's basically just an empty space underneath there with a bunch of little washers that are bent, corrugated, so that the vapor can pass through them, and that's what I guess kind of atomizes it. And you have these holes down underneath here. You want to make sure that those are free of debris, and that allows air to pass up through there to feed the fuel, because you need oxygen for flame source. So let's go ahead and we'll bring this out of the way and get down to the meat and potatoes. Sorry, I would recommend that you probably don't service this with it full of fuel. I unfortunately am kind of lazy, and I kind of know what I'm doing at the same time, so we'll go ahead and we'll monkey around with it anyway, even though you could probably make a mess. So to start, I suppose we can take our 10mm down here, and we'll put a little wrench on her so she don't spin. And you probably, if it gives you too much of a hassle, you may want to find another way to hold that, or put like a rag in between there so you're not beating down on that pipe. You don't want to crimp it down and make it so stuff don't flow through there. Now, I have not had this apart yet, but one thing I can tell you already is you've got this little needle right here, and that will go through the jet end here, and I imagine that's kind of part of the generator assembly. I have a basic working knowledge of how this works, but yeah. So that's you're going to want to make sure that that's clean off from debris. You're going to want to make sure that that little pinhole through there, that you can see through it, and it is mighty nice. I don't think that's where the problem lies. I think that we've got some carbon buildup in here, and there may even be some, I definitely think there's something to do with the generator here, and there may even be some obstruction in the pickup tube assembly, but we'll get to that. Let's see if we can actually, to protect this little needle here while I try to loosen this up. And I might have to edit this out if this gives me too much problem. We're going to try and give this a loosen, a little bit of heave-ho. Now you may want to come back through here afterwards and put some pipe dope on this. People say pipe dope. brake stuff right there. So I'm gonna want to get a wrench on that so I don't bend this all to hell. I was hoping that was gonna be used. Alright, so we'll take that out of there. Most of the things that I work on, I have absolutely no idea what I'm getting into until I get into them, and I just kind of make my way through and use my mechanical knowledge to figure it out. I will admit that I did kind of do a Google search on this, and that's where I got the idea to use the gun cleaning kit. But here we already have, we had a little bit of pressure in there. Again, another good reason why you don't want fuel. Whoa! That's how you start fires, you guys. Let's get a rag here and wipe that mess up that we made. Ooh, could blow us up. I got a little buddy heater underneath there. It's a good thing that that didn't just, oh, look at that. Yeah, that's how that happens. The little spring gangs came barreling out of there. Yeah, it's looking pretty carboned up. That's looking pretty nasty looking. So we'll go ahead and we'll get a clean on that. That's gonna help. Yeah. That's how you start fires. But like I said, I got a little buddy heater underneath the table right now, and it's probably really love to get a taste of that white gas spray on it. Let's just put that under there. Yeah. My mom would be like, "What are you doing?" Yeah. But you guys, if you know anything about flames, fuel sources, and what's explosive. Oh yeah, hey, then I probably could have opened this fuel valve to relieve some of the pressure. That probably would have been smart. I had this thing really pumped up. Oh, it's gonna kill my stickers. I get stickers on my table. Oh, what am I doing? Alright, you guys, don't do that. I already warned you. I already told you not to do it when it's got fuel in it. Why didn't you listen to me? Why? And this is how you lose parts too. So, yeah, look at that. All wiped up there so they don't kill my sticker cable. Fumes is the big one. You don't want a room that's full of amazing fumes all over the place. And before we get too far there, I think I'm going to loosen up this generator here. If I can get this thing apart enough, I can dump off some of this excess fuel here. That's interesting. Don't like coming out. Maybe I gotta get this part off the rest of the way first before I can take that off. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. Oh yeah, and she is. She's carboned up a little bit. You can see how dark it is. Let's put that off the side there. And then we'll try it again, and we'll try and loosen this up with our 5/16 wrench. And we'll see if we can't get that the rest of the way out of there like that's supposed to do. Anything that goes together, kids, comes apart. As long as you take your time, you can do it. You can do it. It's really in there. I hope I'm not breaking it. Yeah, I'm probably bending the hell out of that thing here. Oh. Run it back in there. yeah, it's supposed to loosen that up there in order to do this. We'll get it up there without breaking anything. Maybe we won't. You know, the beauty of editing is if I break it, I just won't post the video, eh? Okay, yeah, so like I said, I don't really know what I'm doing here, so I'm gonna thread that back in there. And I think that the problem lies right there. I think so far this is like all blooper reel. This is great. Pour that gas in there. I thought about doing that prior to this, so I wouldn't make a mess, but I'm not always smart as I am. Alright, hey, that's good. Perfect. It's not even too much for it. So, I have read that you can run these things on regular gasoline. Look at that. Bring the color right out of it. You can clean these up using regular gasoline, or you can run these on regular gas. Ah, I got it. There you go, you guys. Probably you're gonna want to do some editing. Huh? Let's try to get this open and see what the hell is going on in there. Oh, look at that bad dog there. Yeah, we're gonna want to clean that off, huh? Is that why it don't want to come apart? Looks like that little doodad comes off. I may have broke this thing. Somebody else possibly had this part before. Messed it up the way I almost just said, oh yeah. Look at that little needle doodad there. There's a little needle in there that I may or may not have messed up when I tried to take it apart that one time without doing it the right way. So stupid. Anything that goes together, you guys, comes apart. That's you just gotta figure out in what order. For whatever reason, that it seems like it's stripped out. Not come. That should have been out of there by now. if at first you don't succeed, pipe wrench. Pipe wrench. Probably a little big for the job, but this can't. This can't grab that pipe and get her loose. I don't know. Whatever. There we go. Alright. Like I said, pipe wrench, guys. Back to it. Something holding that together. If anything, maybe I won't be able to clean that part. I don't know. It's gotta be what's getting in the way there. That's in there pretty deep. It's all learning, kids. All learning. Still not completely apart. How in the hell did they get that in there? Or get that out of there? This is the inner workings of this generator assembly here. Alright, so I've come to the conclusion that the way that they've manufactured this, I managed to get that nut off of there. And the only way to do it was to the collar nut. And the only way to really do it was to bend the handle. And what I think they did was I think they put some kind of washer that just barely fits in there, like a packing washer. When this handle was straight, upon assembly, there's going to be some kind of fish hook that goes around I don't know, it'd be like straight and then have a loop like a pump, like a, I don't know, like a hand drill basically. And then as you turn this handle, it turns the hand drill, which goes up and down. That I get. But what they must have done is or like in a sink drain. A sink drain would be a good example. But anyway, I've come to the conclusion that they made the connection in there, and this was straight, and then they put that packing washer down in there that barely fits, and then they threaded this cap down on there and crushed that down into the bottom of there to the point where that is not coming out. I'm not one to, I don't like to fail at anything, and I'm a firm believer that anything goes together comes apart, and I could get that out of there if I wanted to drill it all out, but then I don't have a washer to replace it. I don't have a means to redo it. I can bend this handle back straight and put this little nut back in place. The most important thing is the way this works is as you turn this up or down, you want to see that needle moves in and out, and you want to make sure that, let's back that off a little bit, make sure that that's clean, it's not all carboned up, and that looks kind of icky, so we'll polish that up. And then in the tube that it rides in, we want to make sure that that's all clean too. So I'll probably spray some carb cleaner through that and some compressed air, and make sure that is that's not carboned up in there, that it's nice and free. That's the pickup tube in the gas tank. And of course, you want your gas tank to be as clean as possible so that you're not picking up debris later. Let's see if we can get a picture of what that looks like in there. Oh yeah, it's probably gross, but my camera's not good. God, get in there. Good, look at it. Look in the hole. There's like 3 cameras and a light. The light's way off to the side, so like, how you line it up so you get a good view? I'll try and look in there with my eyeball. Yeah, it ain't the prettiest, I don't think, but see, a little rusty in there, so this probably happened again. I don't know, we'll just make sure we put real good clean fuel in it, and it is what it is. I guarantee you though, when I get this thing back together, that it is going to work the way it's supposed to. That needle is moving it back and forth inside this tube, and like I said, I'll clean that out, make sure that's not carboned up, and then we'll go from there. So yeah, there's Adam Doyle, Old Dirty Fishman 0. And so far the Coleman gas stove has got one up on me. It's trying to beat me up here, but we'll get her cleaned up. So being a welder, I do have access to these fancy little tools right here. These are good for cleaning out orifice files. Really big files that you can run through them tiny little holes as needed in that tube there, and get any carbon out that way. So as you're spraying it out and whatnot, you know, you make sure that you run that little file through there. Get her back perfect. Yeah.